Nate here with REIPrintMail. We're here with Charles today. We're going to be talking about what pieces we need to be sending, how often to send them, along with when should we change that mail piece. So, Charles, question number one.
What do you got?
What factors influence the choice of mail piece type for a campaign?
So a lot of factors, Nate, go into this. It's going to be location, it's going to be how tough the market is, and it's going to be kind of with density as well. And things that I look at is we track everything that we do. So we have this massive database. Every state we send mail out in, we're tracking it, and we're seeing what the response rates are on those. So right now, being at the beginning of 2025, I can look at all of our data that we have from 2024 and go into a state and look at what mail piece was getting the highest response rate. So that's going to give me the starting point for any campaign that I start with a new client. And then from there, our campaigns are typically about 3 months long to start off on a standard one. And I'm going to pick 3 different mail pieces of the top ones I saw out of the database to get us started. So with this, the reason I'm picking all 3 is we don't know exactly how your market's going to react. At the end of the day, we may have people who see a check mailer as an awesome thing. They're like, whoa, this guy just wrote a check. He's going to buy my house right now. While on the other hand, we may have markets where they get insulted by that. And they're like, what? Somebody thinks I can just write a check and buy my property? So we have to go through and we have to do some testing. So at the beginning, I'm definitely putting a variety out there, but I do have some thought behind it by using our database to pick those top mailers from the previous couple of months, year out. And that allows us to get started.
I like that. Sounds like you're not shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
We don't want to waste any money shooting in the dark. That's
exactly.
For sure.
Optimizing the marketing spend is what we're trying to do as fast as possible. Usually in the first 90 days, we get pointed in a really good direction.
Okay. I like it. Do me a favor. Can you explain how rotating mail piece types can improve engagement?
Definitely. So end of the day, kind of like I mentioned a moment ago, some people could get offended by the check. Some people might think it's the best thing ever. So how do we know exactly what every single individual mailbox person in your market is going to do and react? Well, we don't. So it's really important to send different messages. We have handwritten postcards that we send out and handwritten letters that really grab people's attention. They like the way they look. We have top of the line printers to the point where you really can't even tell if it was printed or written with a ball pink pen. We have the checks, as I've already discussed, which some people like, some people don't. And we have a different variety too with AccuPick, where we'll throw a picture of the property on there. For the seniors, I love when we hit a senior citizen list. I like sending our mega mailers. It's this huge mailer, 10 inches by 17 inches. The font is humongous, so they can read it maybe without putting their reading glasses on.
I love it.
So we have all these people that we target, and we got to make sure that we have that variety in there. Now, after we've mailed for a while, if we see something that's consistently working, we'll make it a control piece. But I always love having a test piece in there so we know where the pivots are if we ever start getting stuck.
Good stuff. I like it. Let me see here. How often should you change up the mail piece strategy just to keep it fresh?
So with that, that's a hard one to give a solid answer to because it depends on your market. I have some markets where I do 6-touch campaigns, and every 3 weeks I'm throwing a different mailer out there, and I do that 6 times in a row, and it works great. I have other places where we've identified that a certain postcard or a certain letter kills it, and we just send it month after month after month. So to answer that one, we use KPIs, so our key performance indicators, and that's that data I was talking about. So at the beginning, my rotation is going to be 1 different mail piece per month. If I want to be aggressive and I have the right tracking ability, I'll send 2 different mailers at the same time inside of a month. And once we kind of get an idea of what's going on, that's going to let me know how often I rotate, or maybe that it's an area where we don't rotate, or we run a piece for 6 months before we change it up. So once again, KPIs, the data is really going to answer that one once we get into the market that we're working in.
That's important. I actually had a campaign where a customer had a check and 2 postcards. Actually, the 2 postcards were a lot cheaper than the check, and they were outperforming that check. So we ended up kicking that one to the curb and upping our lead flow with the same marketing spend.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, and at the end of the day, awesome point that you said there is it doesn't matter really if we're using the cheaper piece or the more expensive piece. It's the piece that's producing deals. At the end of the day, if we got a 60-cent mailer and a 90-cent mailer, but with the 90-cent mailer, I can send out 4,000, but it takes me 10,000 with the 60-cent mailer, that 90-cent mailer is still doing better. So you got to get away from that marketing tactic of, oh, we got the cheapest mailers, go with us. It really comes down to, well, which mailers are working? Because that's going to get you your best ROI at the end of the day.
You buy nice or you buy twice.
Right? I love it. I'm sure that you've done this, and a lot of us out there have done that. How many people have been on Instagram? You've been on Facebook, and you're kind of swiping through, you're in that doom scrolling, and you see that ad that you've seen 27 other times in the last week, and your brain in 2 seconds can swipe that thing away because you know what it is.
Do that with viral videos.
Yes, exactly. And you're like, yep, gone. gone. So with that, we don't want that happening with the mail. At the end of the day, people get their mail, they're in a routine, they check it every day. And if they get that exact same looking mail piece every single day, they're gonna identify it very quickly and they're gonna be like, oh, that's junk, throw it in the trash. Now, what is important is we're consistently getting your name, your business, and your information in their minds and having them read it over and over and over, because in this game, timing is key. We market year round, so when that person is in the right time of their life to sell, they sell. And we need to make sure their information is sticking in your head. If we change up the way the mailer looks, we can continuously get your name, your business in their brain year round before they just identify it by a visual and throw it away. So rotating, I think, is very, very important. I like to do my rotations about once a month. Different markets, we do it a little quicker. Sometimes we can let that stretch out a little bit.
And then I got one more for you.
Yeah.
What's the most effective type of mail piece for real estate investors?
Man, that's a tough question. Literally comes down to location. We work in 50 states. I have places where the mega mailer, that big one I was talking about a little bit earlier out in California, works phenomenal. I love sending it there. In a rural area, I love sending a check mailer. It works great. I have areas for land where I'll send a Google image of the property and I'll put that on there. So it's a deeper question than that. You would definitely want to jump on a call with a coach and break down your market and look at exactly what's your business goals, what's your dispositions, what are you looking at? And that's going to really guide us towards answering that question appropriately.
Makes a ton of sense. Charles, thank you. I learned a ton on this one. If you guys learned a ton as well, or you want to learn some more, you can click the link below, schedule a call with a coach, and we can actually give you a free market analysis to let you know what piece is working in your area and how we can help you scale your real estate business. Don't forget to like and subscribe to REI Print Mail. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.